Welcome, Solarah here. I hope you guys are doing well today. It's been a minute since I've been on here. It's been over a week. I never intend to go away and be away this long, but life happens. And as I said to you guys, in August, I was trying to make the most of coming on here more often at the time before my homeschooling schedule started again in September. And so I'm back in the full swing of that, as well as other stuff I've had to deal with and alchemize. Those of you who are on SUBSTACK with me or follow me over on Solarah Rises know already, I've already shared this, how Stripe, the payment processing platform that is connected to both my Ko-Fi and my Substack, unexpectedly on the day after Mercury went direct, well, unexpectedly to me, apparently not to them, put a block on my account and withheld all of my August earnings for no real good reason, and have been kind of have me on a wild goose chase, or trying to have me on a wild goose chase, and an energy that my guides had. They were showing me that they're kind of like trying to be a lion or a wild cat, kind of playing with me like a mouse, and I wasn't having that. So I have been dealing with figuring out the best way to move forward, given the fact that they have taken my profits from all my Substack memberships from the month of August, as well as my Ko-Fi. So all of the groups I hosted, all of the donations any of you guys made to my solar return decrees or any other decrees in the month of August, or any purchases of my sacred bathing manual, all of my offerings on Ko-Fi, they have taken. So I've been figuring out a way to move forward, and needed time to kind of deal with the anger that arose from that, the righteous anger that arose from that, and also like understanding and overstanding that when these things happen, when we are focused on the alchemy as opposed to the victimhood story that they're trying to drag us back into, we're actually completing something. And oftentimes these 2033, as I say this, oftentimes these corporations, beings, groups are coming into your energy, and they're being tested, especially during justice season. And they're being tested because there are new earth contracts that need to be honored. And at every turn, people are being tested right now. They're being tested through you and through me. So those of you who feel like things are unfair, yada, 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 yeah, it is unfair. But you need to see the bigger picture. Some of you are so powerful that the very soul of a corporation comes to you for justice and judgment, whether they're aware of it or not, because that's who you are in the ethers. So if you're not comfortable with that caliber of your power, really knowing that, then you won't be able to embody the fullness of it. So really, when they come into your fields with this fuckery, they're doing you a favor, even though they try to, mess with your day-to-day life, messing with my ability, funnily enough, not really funnily enough, I'm being facetious, of course, with moving forward and moving out of my karmic family dynamic with my children. But here's the thing, the more they fuck with your ability to be liberated in these new energies, when you have broken contracts and declared yourself to be sovereign and free and no longer a part of their shenanigans, and they're still pushing their agendas onto you and trying to keep you stuck in the old world and those templates, the harsher the consequences are going to be for them in the long term. Because the truth is, the old world is dead. It's not even dying, it's dead. It's on its last legs. It's on its, final death breaths, you could say. And while they try to grasp at you and take you down in the process, they're really just fucking with themselves, for as long as you don't allow yourself to be pulled into the fuckery. So I've needed the time to sit down and to really get to the bottom of what it was about in my own soul story that it was showing me. And yes, it showed me a lot of things about what's happening in the collective energies right now too, which we will probably get into tonight. but it also gave me a beautiful opportunity to connect with some wonderful members of this community who reached out, through my groups, and being aware of what was happening, to assist me in a myriad of ways. Two beautiful women showed up and assisted me in an energy clearing that I really needed, and one beautiful being is helping me to completely revamp my idea of what is possible for me in terms of sharing my wealth with you guys in the new earth, and to make what I do more accessible and even more affordable, which is what I've always wanted to do. I put a lot in the work I do, and so, but I'm one person, and so it's difficult for me to be able to help the amount of people that I've been sent here to help on a one-to-one group basis, because I'm only one person, but also because of the fuckery that I've had to go through. It's very difficult to be fully in my role and what it is I'm called here to do and to be at this time, when constantly having to deal with alchemizing attacks that are directly against my and my children's stability. I'll be very honest. That would be the one hindrance that is keeping me from being in this world right now and doing everything I'm supposed to do, and being on YouTube, writing on Substack. Those are just a few things I'm here to do. I am here to do bigger things, to create sanctuaries for people to recover from abuse on all planes, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's one thing I'm here to do. I'm here to help people get to the bottom of their cosmological truth that's been stolen from them. That's why I do tarot astrology. I'm here to make that accessible to all people who want to rise and move forward into the new earth and let go of the wounds and the deceptions and the lies that have kept them bound to the old world templates. And for as long as I have to keep on dealing with the financial fuckery, really is what it comes down to, I don't have the peace to create to the fullest of my extent. I struggle to do what it is I do because of dealing with this. And this isn't just my own stuff. This is because of how I show up for the collective also. It's just part of the story for now while we're transitioning. So figuring out ways around that, figuring out, putting together initiatives, crowdfunding, all that stuff, with a beautiful being who has stepped in and just is helping me to, like I said before, see the future in such a way that I haven't been able to tune in and envision for myself, because I've been so snowed under in survival. So I'm so grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to those of you who were aware and stepped up, for the emails. I know I still have to get back to some of you. I did read your emails. It's just been very difficult because on top of that, I had a court appearance and I had to rehash everything that had occurred on the night many years ago where my ex tried to take my life. And I wasn't quite prepared for how draining that situation would be, rehashing it. So I've just been doing my best to show up for myself right now, because when I do that, when I show up for myself, I can show up in the position, in the role I've been sent here to be and to do for the collective too. So I thank you for your patience. I know that's a long fucking ass intro. My apologies. My quick disclaimer is, if you don't like me, you don't have to like me, and you also don't have to be here and articulate that. It's as simple as that. I love every single being, but I don't like every being. I can love you, who you are, what you stand for, your own soul evolution, but not want to be around you. And it's perfectly fine if you feel the same way about me, but please don't loiter. And if you are going to loiter, save your comments, your nastiness for yourself. I'm not interested in seeing it, hearing it, reading it. I will block you, I will remove you, and I will make this statement about that because I have to energetically put the boundary down and say what it is I will and I won't accept, so that proper karmic justice and the scales of balance can be properly set with every view of this recording. And those of you who know what I mean, then you know what I mean. And those of you who don't get it and wonder, why does she say this? That's fine. You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. That's all right. So I have completely cleared away my debts, and I have 7 out tonight. I don't know if I'm going to use them all. My children helped me to choose which decks we're going to go into tonight. I do have some notes. I'm going to just get into the cards and see what comes out. Just to give you a heads up in case this story comes out, or this you know, like theme or energy comes out in the cards. The downloads I have are about family scapegoating, very specifically, as well as scapegoating in general, and how it fucks with the energy field and causes certain situations like the one I had happen to me with, you know, the constant financial blocks, the constant dealing with beings who hate you but don't want to let you go, the constant dealing with you know, people who don't really want to show up and support you but want to be in your energy. All of that is indicative of a person who in their energy field has the residue and the remnants of having been scapegoated. Those are all the energy foundations. I say family scapegoating because a lot of the time that energetic foundation is set through childhood, and what is set through childhood tends to be the script you continue to play throughout life on an energetic level and a subconscious level until you wake up and you realize, and even when you wake up and you realize, many of you know, it's a fucking battle to clear it. It's a fucking battle to clear it. And it's something that has to occur in you know, in several layers. So let's go in and let's just see what message is going to come out tonight. I'm going to take my time. I know I often show up here and I'm just like, I gotta run, I can't do a long message, and I end up being here for an hour anyway. I very rarely just show up and say, fuck it, I'm gonna take my time. So tonight I'm showing up and I'm saying, fuck it, I'm going to take my time. And that may be an hour and it might be 2. And we're just going to roll with it and see how it goes. Okay, I'm being told to do a 4-card spread. We do have Leo the Lion coming out. I'm using the Star Codes Astro. Oracle Leo season was Crunk. Of course, we have the 888 portal occurring. And for those of you who hang with me, you know that the 88 portal is when you get your solar codes for the year ahead. It's the collective solar return. Okay, you have your own personal solar return when you celebrate your so-called birthday every year, and then you have the collective birthday, which happens during Leo season when the sun is in Leo, returning to the sign over which it has rulership, which is what the 888 portal is partly about. The 88 portal, I should say, 2044, as I say that on my clock. And the 88 portal is also about coming into alignment with your cosmological truth and destiny, and therefore being given the codes that help you to pursue that. Which is why in the tarot, Aquarius is the star. Aquarius and Leo are sister signs, so during Leo season you will have the full moon in Aquarius. My apologies if the tracking has fallen off at all in this video. I'm noticing that it's playing slow in my recording, but I continue through the fuckery anyway. What is interesting about that Aquarius energy and putting you into planetary alignment with your destiny and your cosmological truth is there are 88 constellations that we identify here on Earth that are in the skies. And so there are 88 constellations, and then the 88 portal is this portal where we kind of connect with them all through the power of the sun. And this year it was really big, and then we had all the fuckery of Mercury retrograde. So one of the reasons why the attacks have started so early this year and they've been so intense was because of the battle to like pry your fucking codes from you, like taking candy from a kid. But this is where at every turn we have to rise up in the power of our souls. And it's kind of like being in court, you know, Libra season. It's like being in court. And you know how on the court docket it says, you know, the state of New York versus blah, 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 or, you know, the city of London versus blah, 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 you know, or this corporation versus blah, blah, blah. You've got to put the power of your soul on the universal court docket against everything that's trying to fuck with you at this point. And you've got to know that there's nothing that tries to come into your reality. You've got to know this, not in your mind, but in your heart. Libra comes, it's the laws of Ma'at, right? It comes to weigh the truth that is in your heart. So this isn't something you can know in your mind. You will be tested. It must be in your heart, that you know that the power of your soul outweighs every last fucker that tries to come and challenge you in your position to be God over self. Period. Look at this, solar flares. Activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Oh my goodness. Anyway, solar flares, activate, activation, Holy Spirit, activate. This is a bit controversial what I'm about to share. I haven't shared it publicly before. And if you are still adhering to religious ideas and ideologies and dogmas, and you want to come for me in the comments, don't bother. I'm not interested in arguing with you. I'm not interested in having my mind changed by you. I'm not interested in changing your mind either. You don't have to agree with me, but please don't try to proselytize or evangelize when I share what it is that I've been shown. Again, you don't have to agree. I'm not your God. I'm no one's guru. Okay? I'm not your savior. I'm not your religious book or your text. I'm just a soul, an ancient primordial soul, finding her truth again in the midst of all the fuckery and lies, and hopefully activating. Holy Spirit, activating you in doing the same fucking thing. Okay? So, I got a download, it was over a year ago now, and the download was that the Holy Spirit that so many people try to tune into, there's always a collective energy and a personal one, and we focus a lot on the collective idea of a Holy Spirit, but you have your own personal Holy Spirit that connects your spirit to Source. And that's the Holy Spirit you need to be tuning into. Okay, so I shouldn't say you. I should say I was being shown that that was the case. You don't have to agree with me. Okay, so we each have our own personal Holy Spirit based upon the fact that we each have an individual soul purpose within the collective story of evolution and ascension, whereby the collective Holy Spirit serves the collective experience, but the personal Holy Spirit that is given to us through our connection with Source and through our reconnecting the fullness of our human spirits with the divine. It's what we are able to also reconnect to for our own personal guidance. Okay, let's go into the cards. Overarching theme, Gemini, cross-pollinate. Okay, so Gemini, 3, this is number 3. This is the third house. Gemini is the third house, ruler over the third house, I should say. 3 is connected to the Empress in the tarot. Okay, they're telling me to go into some tarot. And so I'm going to move these cards and I'm going to separately go into some confirmation, further confirmation, or I should say some honing in on exactly the message that wants to come through with this Gemini energy. Gemini is an interesting sign because it is ruled by Mercury. There are 2 signs of the zodiac that are ruled by Mercury. And if you know anything about what's been going on recently, you've been following the astrology, you've been listening to my past readings, you'll know that we were in a very heavy mercurial pocket throughout the end of Leo and Virgo season. Where Mercury was retrograding. We had the Sun in Virgo, we had Mercury in Virgo initially. We had, I think Venus was in, is Venus in Virgo, I think also when Mercury was retrograding. I know it just entered into Scorpio. We had Mars in Gemini and Jupiter in Gemini. So we had a lot of Gemini and Virgo energy on the, in the going on astrologically while Mercury was retrograding. And I was sharing how Mercury energy is the magician in the tarot, and Mercury is the planet that helps to unlock all of the elements so we can get to the creational templates and the foundations of how all things are made. And Gemini, Mercury expressed through Gemini is what gives us access to the all, to like the cosmological library. And then Virgo helps us to discern what we need on an individual level. So kind of like what I was just saying about the Holy Spirit. You could say that Gemini is kind of connected to that concept of a collective Holy Spirit, and Virgo is more in tune with that personal connection that your spirit has with Source, that gives you personal downloads and directions and guidance. So kind of like your own personal Holy Spirit and guide, right? So this is like speaking of that collective Gemini, the collective experience, right? So what's interesting about Gemini, though, is as much as it deals with the collective experience or the wider experience of connecting with the all, it is still in the first part of the zodiac wheel, which has to do, the first 6 placements, or the first half of the zodiac wheel, has to do with your relationship with self, has to do with the cultivation of your energy body in terms of the establishment of your mental and emotional body. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, the first 3 signs of the zodiac, are very concerned with you making contact with the mind of Source, the mind of God, to funnel into your reality through your personal Holy Spirit, your true higher mind. It's activated, it is there to help you express your higher mind. And your higher mind is connected to so many things. Through the Aries energy, it is connected to your identity in terms of what you are crowned as. Aries energy, we all have Aries energy because Aries is the opening of the zodiac wheel, and we all have an ascendant. Your ascendant or your rising sign is what opens you into your personal zodiac wheel, right? And so your Aries energy is your ascendant. It's who you're crowned as. It is the first masculine energy of the zodiac wheel, so it has to do with the identity that's given to you by Source for this incarnation. And I like to be very specific about that because some of you are so infinitely connected with your infinite truth based upon your own soul's evolution and the lessons you've already accrued, irregardless as to whether you've been able to activate them on earth or not. They're still locked in your soul. So some of you are so connected with your infinite abilities and your multidimensional existence that your ascendant is just like a piece of who you are in your infinite truth, but it is the piece of you that was needed at this time. It was the piece of you that your soul wanted to express and to explore at this time on earth. And for many of you, like I said, it's the piece of you that was needed here because of the qualities you have and the wisdom you've accrued that was needed at this turn of the ages through your ascendant. Okay, so so the divine mind through Aries, it's all about what crowns you. your identity divinely in this lifetime. Through Taurus, you begin to connect with the resources that the Divine Mother, Taurus is the Divine Mother, the first time she shows up in the zodiac wheels through Taurus, the resources that she endows you with, that is a reflection of your divine net worth, what you hold already in your soul's treasury because of who you are, but also what it is you need in order to fulfill your destiny and your purpose here on the earth planes in this lifetime. It comes through your Taurus field. It comes through the second sign of the zodiac, Taurus, the second house, right? So this is about when you're thinking about the first three signs of the zodiac connecting you to the divine mind. The first sign, Aries, in the first house is about your identity. The second house is about knowing your worth. And when you get to Gemini, or the third house, is about integrating that through how you begin to see yourself in your most intimate relationships, your most formative and intimate relationships. So this is why the third house in Gemini tends to deal with community, school, neighbors, siblings. It's those beings that you spend a lot of your time with on a day-to-day basis, who either will be a true mirror to you, reflecting back your power, your value, and your divine identity and your sacredness, because they're not threatened. They're not threatened by your power and your beauty, or, as was in accordance with all the false matrix agendas, they were insecure, they were taught to be insecure, and so mirrored back to you a lie and had you believing things about your worth and your identity that were far off from your truth. And so with the solar flares here and the activate card and all of this like Holy Spirit activate energy that I'm feeling coming through, and this Gemini card and the overarching theme, there is something right now about these false mirroring energies that formed so many of our social agendas, where we were taught through woundedness to not properly reflect back to people the truth of their power, their beauty, and their value. It's shattering. Okay, and for those of you who are with me on Substack, I went off today about the energy vampirism on these social media sites, including here. I'm taking a whole new approach in how I share my value on these social media platforms. I'm reevaluating, because there's too much energy vampirism, because that's what these social media platforms stand for, and that's what they promote. Okay, and but where is the energy born? It's born through this Gemini fuckery. The fuckery of the Gemini energy, not Gemini as a sign. Gemini as a sign, let me be very clear. I don't want anyone feeling some type of way or like I don't like Geminis, because I love every single fucking sign. I love and I adore all of you guys, because I am all the signs, okay? I don't care what placements are in my chart. I don't care what placements are in your chart. You are all the signs, and we can't hate on one sign without actually just hating on self, and therefore separating that part of our souls and leaving it out in the dirt. So Gemini energy is powerful for helping to break us out of these boxes that try to cage us, based upon the mental programs and the conditioning that we have we've taken in. I'm seeing like a sponge. We've absorbed and and made our reality. Gemini comes like with a fucking bat, and this is a really powerful exercise to do in meditation, to see yourself in the mirror box. Because you were in a fucking mirror box. And those like house of mirror rooms where you go in and everything's distorted? In the fucking Matrix, they show you all of their shenanigans. They just don't tell you that's what it is. The House of Mirrors is showing you the spells, the mirror spells that they had us all in the false matrix through the energy harvesting and the wounded templates that they had us all going through with their social and socialization programs, whereby we were stuck in these mirror boxes, not seeing ourselves clearly because nobody would reflect it back to us. And here's the thing, people think that when they don't reflect your true beauty and power back to you, that they're doing something for themselves, but really all they're doing is inviting distortion into their own reality. When you refuse to call out the power in another person, then you are refusing to access it in yourself. You cannot do something to someone else without doing it to self. And that's what the false matrix wanted people doing. Furthermore, they wanted you feeling like you're not supposed to blow someone up or have them have their head big, or whatever it is that they, this is all like very Judeo-Christian ways of viewing things. Like you can't, people have to stay humble. You've got to humble people, keep them in their place. Fuck a bunch of that. Fuck anyone trying to put me in a box because they're afraid themselves to be big. We ain't doing that no more. We're not doing it anymore. And so, and I've lived through all manners of abuse, including spiritual abuse, and I know all the tactics that these fuckers like to play to try to humble, quote unquote, humble you, but really humiliate you and keep you small. Those old biddies in the church that like to pick on the younger women on purpose to make them feel small because they're so fucking miserable and insecure in themselves. We're done with that shit. Okay? You didn't come here to limit yourself, dumb yourself down, dilute your power, dilute your intelligence, hide your beauty, hide your creativity, hide your expertise. Some of y'all are fucking geniuses, but you're afraid to show that to the world because you haven't ever had any kind of fucking support, because every time people see you rise just a little bit, they want to put you back into your place because you threaten them in their smallness of mind. Fuck that. What people don't realize is everything they see in you that they think that they can't have access to, when they refuse to call out the beauty and the glory in you that they're seeing, they're actually closing down their access to that in themselves. They're not shutting you down. Your feelings might be hurt for a day or so, but you will rise back, and they might not even, but you will rise back up and you will realize time and time again, oh wait, the reason that these assholes are acting like this towards me is because they're threatened. And then you turn that shit around and you actually use it to empower you. Whereas these beings, by acting like that, they actually are seeing things in you. The only reason you can ever see something in anyone else, because this is how the true mirror system of how this earth is actually constructed, how it works, with or without distortion, you are not able to see something in someone else that doesn't live in you. You are not, which is why when you deal with people who are of a lower consciousness and you try to explain something to them, they can't go there with you. They can't go there with you because it's not activated in them yet. It's not time. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist in them. It exists in them. If they're coming to you and they're in your reality, then a lot of what it is that you're engaging with them about, even if it's going over their head, it's in them too. Now, whether they choose to activate, turn that off in themselves, that's on them. But to go back to the original thought, everything that you see in another person, whether you want to label it as being good or bad, which is just a fucking human title to try to categorize and make sense of things that shouldn't really be categorized and made sense of in such small and impoverished ways. But let's go there, right? Because it's what we know. It's a language that we know. Whether what you see in another person you categorize as being good or bad, it lives in you too. Period. You wouldn't be able to activate it you wouldn't be able to see it if it didn't. And you should be grateful that even the things that you think are bad, that the world has told you are bad, that it lives in you, because it means that if it lives in you, you've already overcome and graduated that lesson. And a lot of the time you spend time pushing it away as if it's not yours, and then you don't get to access the fullness of your power either. For as long as we're pushing away any aspect of ourselves, we are not taking ownership of the fullness of our power. You can't just cherry pick the good things about yourself and reject the things that you have misconstrued as being bad and think that you're in full ownership of your soul and your power. Whew. Okay, that was a lot before we even got any tarot cards out. But I'm a highly mercurial being too. My ascendant is in Virgo. I'm here to take these big ass ideas, and I'm here to break them down, and to break them down bit by bit in such a way that it might seem like a lot, but you'll leave from here understanding and overstanding what I'm saying, for as long as you're vibing on the same frequency with me. If you're not vibing on the same frequency with me, I may as well be speaking Japanese to you right now, in all frankness, because that's how frequency works. Yeah. This is so beautiful. So what's coming out is the Lovers to confirm the Gemini placement. And the Lovers, of course, is Gemini energy. Okay, it is the Gemini card of the tarot. The Magician, yes, to a lesser extent, because the Magician is actually the card of Mercury. And because Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo, it has that association. But the main Gemini card of the tarot is the Lovers. And what do we have here at the bottom? We got some Leo energy, first decan of Leo, 0 to 9 degrees of Leo. This is the Five of Wands. Selenite. So this is about the clearing and the balancing of, well, part of it is fuckery, the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is so much more, though, than just, you know, the fuckery that comes. It's more than just the fuckery that comes from people and their shenanigans. Whenever you're dealing with wands, you're dealing with fire. And whenever you're dealing with fire, you're dealing with spirit, and you're dealing with light codes. You're dealing with the initial God codes that have to be filtered through the spiritual, mental, and emotional planes in order to be embodied and actualized through us here on Earth. That's what the fire signs take us through. Okay, so the Wands energy in the tarot, the 2, 3, 4 of Wands, that's Aries. 5, 6, 7 of Wands, that's Leo. 8, 9, 10 of Wands, that's Sagittarius. So the Five of Wands is the first decan of Leo. So in terms of the fire energy, you are moving from the Four of Wands to the Five of Wands, from the mind of God being established to the scrambling energy that comes now to fight when the heart of God needs to be established. When you enter into Cancer, Leo, and Virgo energy on the zodiac wheel, you exit out of the first three signs, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, which is all about connecting you with the mind of God. And when you enter into Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, it's about now establishing the true heart of God. The heart of God for you, and the heart of God as expressed by you on the earth planes as a God particle. So it's really about the calibration of your emotional body. And the first being who's here to show you the true heart of God for you is your mother, through that process of you growing in her womb. It's your mother that's here to first give you that introduction of the heart of God embodied here on the earth planes. And then through Leo, it's your father also. So while the first three signs of the zodiac wheel, Aries and Taurus, that's the divine father and the divine mother, but it's dealing with them as a spiritual concept, right? When you get to Cancer and Leo, you're dealing with the divine father and divine mother as they come through your earthly parents, and what that means for the establishment of your ability to connect with your divine truth on a heart level because of the relationship and the emotional correspondence between your parents that begins to establish your sacredness as reflected by the higher principle of the divine father and the divine mother. It's supposed to be channeled and come through your parents. Your parents are supposed to put you put you in high esteem. I know in the false matrix it was the other way around, right? But that was the inversion. My daughter had me cracking up. She's a Virgo, right? She's been one of my greatest teachers. So she got that mother energy. You know, she's had it from the time that she popped out. She's been like raising me. In all frankness, I was thinking about it because she was being mouthy with me earlier on, and she was joking around, and she goes to me, "I didn't raise you to be like that." And then she walked away like it was just a statement. And so I was just like, wait a minute, you're right, you didn't raise me to be like that, because the truth of the matter is we're raising our children on an earthly level. We're here to raise them on the earth, but they're here to be our spirit guides. They're here to raise us up back into our power and our truth spiritually, where we've forgotten who we are. So parents are supposed to, through Cancer and Leo, actualize the love of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father in their emotional correspondence. They're telling me this sentence very specifically, through their emotional correspondence with you. Okay, so what has that got to do? And then as I say that, we do have the Four of Wands. So remember, I was saying the Four of Wands is the last decan of Aries, and the Five of Wands is Leo. So there's this barrier between the establishment of the mind of God and the conflict that arises when that has to transfer now into the establishment of that in the heart space. This is also a very powerful masculine energy that's needing to come under. It's needing to come under submission to the vastness and the truth of universal law and divine contracts is what I'm hearing. And what do I mean by that? Right now we're in a very heavy divine feminine portal. And it's feeling like in that portal, this masculine energy is needing to come not under submission to the divine feminine per se. Just started pouring rain. I love it. But in submission to the feminine energies that are a part of universal law and order that are being reinstated. So the masculine and the feminine energy, they need one another. We're here to submit to each other. There's no one above the other. The feminine energy leads, absolutely. But the masculine energy takes her lead and takes it out, right? I'm talking about energy, not gender here. There's something about the order coming back, the divine contract orders coming back, and it's based upon the integration of masculine principles coming back under the authority of, there she is in the background, my mama. No, I'm joking, my daughter. Excuse me. Wow. The masculine energy coming back under all I'm hearing is coming back under, you know, like the proper order, proper universal law, the proper order that allows for, ultimately allows both energies to flourish. But this is a meeting of the mind and the heart in some way, shape, or form. Okay, let's go into the other cards. In the challenge position, oh, Leo came out. It came out. We got it in the challenge position. Number 5. Number 5, of course, is the 5th house. It's Leo energy. Air and fire. Fire and air. We are still dealing with fire and air in the nodes right now. Aries and Libra. Let's put you two together so I can see more clearly what's being shown here. Now the 5 in the tarot is connected to the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. That connects us to systems and institutions. Systems and institutions can have to do with governance, schooling, church, community, family, marriage. These are all institutions, social institutions that either add or take away from the fullness of our value, and in the false matrix they were designed to take away from our power. So there's a reinstatement, and again with this Leo energy, it's to do with the masculine energy. And the challenge here with the Leo energy is the Leo energy in the challenge position is this desire to move with fire and action that shouldn't. It's to be very active when the energy right now needs to be very passive. But it's more than just the energy right now. It's kind of like recorrecting the agendas that were designed to have us constantly going, and not ever in a state of rest to receive. But this Leo energy is also to do with like heart wounds from childhood. These are the heart wounds and the blocks that oftentimes come by way of the father relationship. Not always, but with Leo energy, it tends to be the relationship with your earthly father. The sun, which rules Leo, that's to do with in your chart. Your sun energy shows me the contracts, the soul contract you had with your earthly father and your father had with you. So Leo tends to be about these father relationships and these father contracts. And in terms of divinity, your father is here. Okay, let's begin with Cancer, which is the mother energy. The mother is here to grow you in her womb in a beautiful, ideally, in a beautiful amniotic pool of warmth and love and generosity, which wasn't afforded most women in pregnancy or in motherhood. That's ideally what it should be when a woman is growing life. It should be the time where she is nurtured and pampered the most, so that she transfers that security, that love, that beauty, that becomes a legacy. She begins that legacy in the womb because she's building that child's mental, emotional, physical body through her spirit also, right? And the best way to kind of think about this on a biological level is the growing of the nervous system in mother. So your nervous system will only flourish to the extent that you are growing inside a woman whose nervous system is not only healthy but not under duress during pregnancy. So it might be a controversial thing to say, and I don't care. Surprise, surprise! I don't care. What I've been being shown, and I've written about this too, is that the influx of what we call autism, or let's say neurodivergence, the influx of neurodivergence in our time is partly because of the increase in women with depleted nervous systems growing children in utero and having to give to them to grow their nervous systems what they don't have to give. Okay, so a lot of us, and I am a neurodivergent too, as are my children, a lot of us who are neurodivergent, and I don't like the terminology. I don't like it because I don't like to be put in a box, because the truth of the matter is there's nothing wrong with us. It's not a disease. We are here for a very specific purpose on the earth, to bring back the sensitivity that is necessary for humanity to find its way back to its humanity, to its soul. That's what the influx of neurodivergence, autism, all of these things are here, because we as beings we're a lot more empathic. We have a lot more sensitivities that express themselves in different ways. There's no two of us that are alike in that way. Some people are more, we can see patterning better. Some of us are more like patterning through like mathematical sequences. Some of us can see patterning better in terms of spiritual energies, that's me, or mental and emotional energies, that's me. I can spot out a pattern that begins in the spirit and how it's moving into the physical. I can do it with ease. That's partly what they would call my autism or my neurodivergence, but I would argue that even though it's partly because of the duress that women have been put through with very stressed out nervous systems, giving growing babies that can't have like fully formed nervous systems. It's not even fully formed. It's just that you could even say it's a form of evolution. It's like it has an evolutionary purpose. I don't like it to seem like it's a deficit, because it's not. Every single child, no matter how they're born, whether they're missing a chromosome, it's not that it doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't bring challenges to families and to parents who are raised. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't get me wrong here. I am saying, though, that every single child that enters into our reality, even if the world wants to see that person as having a quote-unquote disability, in the eyes of the Divine Father and Mother, that child is missing nothing. And if anything, they're here to serve a grander purpose in waking up the world into a higher level of sensitivity, humanity. They're here to show you the way back. How else are you going to find your way back to something, to who you truly are, if your world isn't shaken in some way? I feel like I've gotten very off track here, but the Leo energy here in the challenge position, this is about this is partly about Leo season. I'm looking at the solar flares. This is also about the integration of the very heavy solar energies that were occurring through the Leo and the Virgo windows. I don't know what's been going on recently with the solar flare activity. I don't really follow it at this point. Most of the time I tend to feel it when it's happening. And I haven't felt it for the past few days. I really do feel, though, like this is to do very specifically with the solar flare activations that came through the 8-8 portal. Excuse me. And all the ways it's here to kind of shake up the formative foundations that live within our emotional and mental bodies, whereby we are no longer holding on to those original templates that were set in our energy fields to fuck us up. So remember I said in the beginning when I was talking about how I didn't know if I'd go into the notes about scapegoating and all that other stuff, and how when you're a scapegoat, the energy template, the foundational energies that were instilled in you as a child are the energies that continue to proliferate in your reality until you become an adult and you decide to do something about it. And then it takes a lot. So some of the symptoms of people who have dealt with scapegoating in a family dynamic where that has become the formative energy that was also reflected back to them, oftentimes through community and schooling. Because there's a very real reason why that occurs. So if you've been Sorry. If you've been hanging out with me for a minute, then you'll know part of my story, and that is that I was a designated scapegoat in my family system, but that had an effect not only on my family life but my schooling life too. Excuse me. Excuse me. But on my schooling life also. And so when you're dealing with that kind of situation and you're not aware that you are being scapegoated, or that you don't know anything about these energy dynamics and you're a child at that, you then begin to internalize the story that you need to internalize to cement the energetic foundations that are going to set you up for how people treat you throughout life. So if you are a child and you're growing up in a family where you're constantly made to feel as if you're a problem, you're a burden, and you know, some of the common titles they'll tell you as a scapegoat is that you're selfish, or you're this or you're that. Every time you want to do something to protect yourself or your energy, a lot of the time those of us who are scapegoats, we are people who, even as children, we liked to be alone, we liked our own company, and we were we were denied that, or we were made to feel as if there was something wrong with us, or we were selfish for doing that, when really it was your way of trying to protect yourself. Even if you didn't realize it's why you wanted to be alone in your own energy, you knew internally that you needed to protect yourself from the constant attacking that was coming through into your energy fields. So when you carry that and you bring it into the next social setting, which is schooling, then a lot of the time what you're giving out in your electromagnetic field as a child, even, it's calling the matching energies back. So I say that because I went into the schooling system and I had other challenges also. I was the only black kid in an all-white school, in an all-white affluent neighborhood, suburb of London. And so that was already a problem, to be completely frank. That was already an issue. You know, I was already not liked. My family was already not liked by the teachers, who couldn't stand to see a black family prosper. And in all frankness, to be, to have more money than them. That was the issue also. And so when adults have an issue with other adults that they can't articulate because they don't want to come across as being racist, right? Heaven forbid that I actually see my prejudices and my biases that are actually conditioned in me and programming that I should actually maybe begin to think about why it's there. Heaven forbid I have to actually confront my shadow. So let me instead passive-aggressively target the child. I can't speak what I have to say to the parent, so let me take out my anger on the child. And because I can take out my anger on the child, and that child is already dealing with that in the home, that means that that energy was constantly being reinforced through my home life and my school life. A lot of hatred being projected towards me, and it wasn't even projected towards me, because understand and overstand that when you're a child, and the more innocent you are in general, the more open your energy field is, and you're like a sponge absorbing things. And you're supposed to when you're a child. You're supposed to absorb the information you need to set the energetic foundation that's going to set you up for life. And a simple biological reflection of this is how a child is born with that top part of their head that's soft, right? That top part of their skull is soft, right? And then over time, it closes up and it hardens. And that's kind of a reflection of how children are in general. They're soft, they're pliable, they're open, they're malleable, because they're here to be taught the energy that they are supposed to embody and build upon. Their foundation is set through those formative years, hence the reason why their energy fields are so open, right, to receive. And so if all you're receiving is people's disdain and hatred, their rejected shadow, that becomes the energetic foundation for what becomes the energy cycles that keep on happening in your life, and you don't realize why. It has nothing to do with you as a person. It has everything to do with the energetic foundations that were instilled in you. Right? So this is very specific today, because it's about, and in all frankness, with the Leo energy and the father is supposed to protect. The mother is, I didn't complete that thought before. The mother is supposed to provide you with, all of that nourishment. And the mother's also supposed to connect you with your intuition. Your intuition is your ability to protect yourself, your ability to tune into what you feel is right for you and to have that honored. Your mother is supposed to nurture your relationship and your ability to be able to have that trust in yourself. So when you've been scapegoated, you are constantly taken out of that ability. You are in general, but it's like even more pronounced in scapegoatism, because you are constantly being gaslit. And when you're constantly being gaslit, you are constantly being taken away from the truth of what is actually happening, and therefore your ability to tune in and trust yourself. And if you're a very sensitive being, that actually has a really detrimental effect on your mental and emotional fields. It gets you very, very scattered at a very early age and unable to kind of find cohesion ever within yourself and with other beings and all of that stuff. So your father is here to protect you. That father energy is here to help you take your intuition and to be protected enough to express it and to actively live in accordance with it. Your father is here to protect you against those energies that would try to take you out of balance and harmony and away from yourself. Okay, so a lot of us didn't have that. If you did, that's amazing. It really is amazing. But most of us, our fathers didn't have the ability or the propensity to do that for themselves, or have it modeled to them by their fathers to be able to pass it down to us either. So this is about the protection of your light, the protection of your energy field, the protection of your codes, because it is through the father energy where you are taught that the power of protecting your energy, protecting your right to be so in tune with your intuition. It's through that father energy that you connect with your solar codes. Remember, I said in the beginning, your solar codes have to do with the alignment of the planets and the stars, very specifically the constellations. The higher you are in alignment with your truth, the more plugged in you are to the stars and to the constellations, and the more you are able to actualize your destiny on earth as it's written in the stars or in the heavens. So you cannot actualize your destiny, your divine destiny, for as long as you are being taken away from yourself, being taken away from your heart's truth. Your heart leads you by way of your connection to what brings your soul joy. It leads you into your destiny. But if you're constantly being told that what it is you're discerning brings you and is bringing your soul joy is wrong, or you're selfish, or you're this or you're that, and you're being taken away from yourself, or you're being bullied, or you're being in any way mentally, emotionally, spiritually harmed, physically harmed, and you're not being protected in your ability, 2133, in your ability to tune into yourself, then you're not able to actualize your destiny. Your mother is here to help you connect to your destiny, and your father is here to help you actualize it. Very much like the Divine Father and the Divine Mother are masculine and feminine energies. So there's something here not only about the wounded child templates, but the wounded father energies are breaking apart right now. And the wounded father energies are breaking apart and showing us the importance of protecting our solar codes, protecting our destinies, protecting our right to be who we are, whether people get it or not. I just did a post on the community board, and this ties into what I was saying, in my sunrise salutation earlier on today about these social media shenanigans and energy vampirism, and that is that Every time you get a piece of your soul back, you must relinquish the lie that had you separated from that soul piece to begin with. So with every solar return, soul piece returning to you, light codes coming in to help you rise higher into your soul's truth, you must let go of the programming that had you locked out. And so that means that you become more in tune, not only in tune with yourself, but more expressive of your truth. And one thing the false matrix and its social agendas doesn't like is when you defer from the program. And many people think that they are enlightened and free of the false matrix and all that other shit. But some of that rhetoric is just another false matrix program that they don't realize they're a part of, right? And so when you push farther into truth and expressing truth, you're going to trigger them. And you're going to trigger them because there's somewhere where they're still pledging allegiance to energies that are taking them out of their soul's truth. And you are serving as a trigger to wake them up out of the complacency of doing that. But it's not an easy thing because it requires that you live in a higher form of truth before that truth is accepted on the earth planes. Right? Or you live in a higher form of truth before it's accepted in a group dynamic, which always puts you in the Nine of Wands energy of beings being like, that's too much truth for me. I'm woke and I'm this and I'm that, but that's too much truth for me. That's too woo-woo for me. You go over there with that. I'm not ready for that. I just want to have some of the perks of ascension. I don't really want to do the deep soul work of dismantling every fucking cog within my system that connects me to an entity that keeps me living and recycling and repurposing and manifesting false matrix ideals. Oh, no, no, no. I want to be this free because I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable here. I don't want to go higher. I've gone high enough. I done been through enough pain. Okay, I'm not ready for a higher level of honesty and integrity and accountability. I'm not ready, and the pain I'm talking about is I'm not ready for more rejection. I'm not ready to be set apart even further. So I was saying on the community board, we've entered a whole other level right now of the wheat being separated from the chaff, because this is a fucking ascension. This is a turn of the age. You don't get to do things halfway and think that you're going to escape. Either you're going to go all the way and you're going to do your soul justice, or you're not. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. We are living in a monumental time where we get to live within the context of the Jubilee codes that come about because so many ages are ending at once. What does it mean, Jubilee? Jubilee occurs when the slave templates and contracts that had you tied out of your liberation, no matter how they were written, for as long as you stand up and say you don't want to be a part of it anymore, you don't have to be. But you can't say it and then not do the work to follow up that is necessary to stand in that truth. You can't say it and then when you get attacked by the very energies that want to keep you stuck and out of your rights to access those Jubilee codes, you can't get upset and cower and then wonder why. Of course those fucking energies are going to come for you. You've been a really great food supply for millennia. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Which is why I always say, and those of you guys know, this journey, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who every time they get attacked want to fall into self-pity and woe is me. Have your moment. We all got to have our moment of being a victim because we've been victimized, but don't let yourself stay stuck there. Otherwise, you just are staying in the victim cycle. And many people like to be in that victim cycle. It's why the videos that do so well here are all the videos that are always talking about what someone else is doing to you, as opposed to what you can do for yourself to liberate yourself all the way. People love to hear the stories of their victimization, but they don't want to pay attention to the fullness of what they have to do to get free. And the people who come forth to them and tell them what it is they have to do to get free, they want to argue with them. They want to mudsling at them as if they're doing anything but giving them the codes to liberation they claim that they want. We are in not only a time of Jubilee, but we are also in a time where you can recover your justice codes. Your justice codes. It's Libra season. In 2024, the year of the 8, and breaking out of the infinity loop and the karmic structures that you've been locked in since the fall of the previous golden age, where you lost your justice codes. What am I talking about? You have codes, you have access, you have things that you've been endowed with through your Taurus energy. So when you came to the earth, you would have everything you need to navigate this terrain without getting stuck. You were given all those things and you lost it. I lost it. We gambled it. We squandered it. We lost it because we didn't know who we were. And then these fuckers were playing these games of sacrificing us and putting their karma onto us to steal our goods so that they could wrongfully stay here where they don't belong. Everything that rightfully belongs to you because it's Jubilee time, it is yours for the taking to get back. But don't think that you're always going to be able to get things back without a fight. And don't get it twisted about what it means to get things back. What do I mean by that? Some people don't even realize that when they think they're being attacked, you're actually being given something back. The thing that you've asked for back, you know, all of those memes and slides that you see people, I call back all my power. Is you sure though? Because your power has been knocking and coming back to your door, and you've been denying it by not owning the fullness of who you are. And every time you do that, you invite a higher attack because of your own rejection of the energy returning. Yeah, because sometimes the way the energy returns, it's not going to just all of a sudden, whoop, I'm lit up and I have a surge of energy. No, it's going to come to you in different ways. Do you have the eyes to see and the heart to understand and discern how energy flows and moves? Do you realize sometimes that the financial attacks are there to prepare you for your bounty? It's there to clear away the energies. It's there to make you aware of the straggling energies that are in your field that have been eating away at your ability to hold your wealth, so that when it does arrive, those energies can't bother what it is you're building anymore. Are you aware that when you call things back, the things that have been in your field upsetting the natural balance that should be yours must leave? And a lot of the time, they don't leave quietly. Or if they've been lurking in your fields and you haven't seen them, the only way for you to actually eliminate those things is to come face to face and to see what it is that's been hiding so you can renounce it. All of these things that we're going through, they're not always other people attacking us. Sometimes these are the spells that already lived in your energy that were causing the blocks that need to materialize and actualize so you see it and you make a conscious and a conscientious choice so you can put away that energy forever. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So what you need to be honing in on right now and paying more attention to, ascendant. We were talking about this, right? Entrance. This is your Aries energy. This is where not only, a new cycle begins through the first house, through the ascendant window, every time the sun returns to Aries, okay? But your ascendant is about your entry into this lifetime. And it says here too, it says entrance. So some of you are going through a process right now where you literally are entering into the truth of who you are. You know how, like, for those of you who've come to get your tarot astrology done with me, you know, whether it's in the group or you've done a report or you've had a tarot astrology reading with me, all of those things I speak about, your cosmological identity, those things are only fully actualized as you go through that window, go through that Aries window, rise and enter into your ascendant, enter into the energy that crowns you, that you've been sent here to express, embody, explore, because your soul wanted it, but for some of you, even more importantly, because the earth needed you in wearing this particular hat of your infinite truth and identity. So for some of you, this energy is also speaking to you about, you know, doing more study about who you are in terms of the energy that crowns you, your ascendant, right? This is the number 35. This is not a coincidence. This is 3 and 5, and I want to show you that the 3 and the 5 is here too with the Gemini and the Leo energy. This is the Empress and the Hierophant. Right now, for many of you, for many of us, the new systems and institutions of the new earth are being born through us. They're being born through you. They're being born through me. And the birthing process of something new, especially, is never easy. You will have to deal with naysayers. You will have to deal with people who want to block you, whether they mean to or not, energetically speaking, because of their lower consciousness, their the paucity of their minds and hearts, or their inability to connect with, let me be nicer, their inability to connect with the fullness of their minds and their hearts, will want to try to keep the old story that they're comfortable with and familiar with going. But you ain't here to half ascend. You're not here to cherry pick, to pick and choose those parts of ascension that appeal to you on an egoic level. You're not here to rise but so far. What would be the point of that? To walk around and tell people you're free but not really be free, because it looks like you're like hashtag, I don't know, what would the word be, like hashtag chosen? What does that do for your soul? Are we playing for an audience and their applause and their acceptance, or are we really coming back into union and loyalty and marriage again to ourselves, to our souls? You know, so for those of you who are on that path, fuck a bunch of what other people think and being hashtag chosen if internally you're not hashtag whole, hashtag reunited and it feels so good with my damn self. And not for nothing, I'm just noticing here now that the solar flares energy, it's the number 17 card, which is Aquarius. It is the star. And I was talking about the constellations. Some of you are reconnecting not only to your cosmic blueprint and truth, you're reconnecting to the constellations that you've lost contact with because of the fuckery of the false matrix and because of the woundedness, and very specifically because of childhood wounds, and for some of you very specifically to do with the negligence of the protective energy that comes through the masculine. And not only your father now, but all masculine authority figures throughout your life, and then your ability to have your inner masculine energy rise and protect your right to fucking be who you are. if you're not upsetting people at this point, you might just not be fully living in your power. And I'm not saying that fully living in your power means you purposely bring conflict. I'm just saying that because of where we are right now in ascension, the more true you are to yourself, the truer you are to yourself, your true self, the more you are going to likely ruffle feathers, because there's a lot of beings running around playing spiritual games, thinking they're hashtag ascending, when really all they're doing is hashtag spiritual bypassing. And those are the ones whose feathers are being ruffled. Once upon a time, you were ruffling the feathers of complete non-believers. Now you'll be ruffling the feathers of people in the so-called hashtag spiritual community. And that's okay, because that's how we all ascend higher. If we're still living in this world and manifesting the realities we find ourselves in, we ain't done. We got more work to do personally and, more importantly right now, collectively. So people come to me, when do I get to do this and live like this and yada yada yada. Do you know how long it took for you to get into this mess? How long have you been doing the work? For some of you, since 2020. For some of you, like for me, it's been actively since 2008, but not like with a clear vision until the last few years. Technically my whole life, but unconsciously. But how long did it take us to get stuck in these traps? Millennia. Millennia. And your soul, your own soul, knows that you're powerful enough to get out of a trap that's taken millennia of layered spells to get you stuck in. So people who come to me all the time and asking me, are we there yet? I'm not saying don't get tired. I get tired. I ask that question too. Are we there yet? But the ones who keep on nagging about it, it's just like, do you really realize what's going on here? Because if you're so focused on your suffering, that's part of the reason why you're not ascending too, because you're not finding the value in the medicine and the wisdom as the spells come undone to properly alchemize, because you're so focused on the discomfort. And I'm not saying it's fair. It's not fair that a fucking company took away all of my August earnings, when you guys know, if you've been with me, that August was a big month for me, because I decided, because my children weren't in homeschool, that I would take time to do more when I had the time, to put more work into community offerings. It's not fair. It's not fair. It sucks. That was partly what was getting me out of my karmic situation. And yet, without that interruption, I would have continued walking around with my head in the clouds, pretending like I wasn't seeing things on that platform that my guides had been showing me for a minute, but I didn't want to see, because I'm tired of having to be the one who goes into these spaces to show all the shadow fuckery that's happening. But I'm a Mars and Scorpio, so that's part of my energy, and I'm a master in that energy. So everywhere I go, pretty much, especially in these social dynamics, part of why I'm placed in those situations is to take my Leo energy, I'm also a Leo master, and to shine the fuck out of the shadows that nobody wants to deal with, that is causing collective dysfunction. And even before I knew that was part of my signature, I was doing it. And it was painful as fuck when you don't know you're doing it. because all you ever deal with is the rejection that further feeds that victim story that's been like etched in your foundations, your energetic foundations from the time you're a child. But there's power in that. There's power in being a transformer. There's power in being a shadow worker. There's power in having Scorpio mastery. You can see shit that nobody else sees. And the ones that you're there who want to see those things that they can't see, they're the ones who will be your allies, and they're far and few between. And the sad thing about, some of the work that you and I have to do is that a lot of the time we are the pioneers of some of the exposure that then becomes later on hashtag trending. Right? But that's okay too, because you've come here to do what it is you came here to. Some of us, we're not here to take all the credit and to become famous. Hashtag famous. Maybe you will later on. Who knows? You're famous in the cosmos. Fuck who you are here on the earth planes right now. Everything that you are in the cosmos is getting ready to be, actualized here on the earth planes. Fuck who you aren't in their false matrix. For reals. Guidance. I love it. I love it. I'm Coley. This is your IC. So your IC is the, I don't want to say the word opposite, but it is. It's your mirror. It's the mirror of your midheaven. So your midheaven is the doorway to you actualizing and materializing who you came here to be, as it's written in the stars. Okay, so your midheaven is your ascendant energy being actualized and materialized on earth through what you do, through your earthly contracts, etc. But you can't get to your midheaven without you can't get to your MC without dealing with your IC. You can't really actualize your ascendant without dealing with your descendant. You must deal with all of the polarities of who you are. And your IC is where you have the root energies of who you are, cosmologically, as well as, through the cycles that you've dealt with on the earth planes. So you've got to go deep into the root of the foundational energies that created the mess. This is what we've been doing. And when you're able to get to the root and to the seed and to completely dispel that energy, then you're able to form a new foundation, root in a new matrix. Because a matrix is nothing but the mother energy, the motherboard upon which all things grow. The false matrix is a synthetic, fucked up, imposter energy of the divine feminine that was stolen from us. The idea of how to create a matrix, it was stolen to create this artificial bullshit that we've been living through. But all energy is born on a motherboard, a matrix. Nothing can come into matter, Latin for mother. Nothing can be materialized without a matrix, without the motherboard. And so when you are dealing, to go back to, what I was speaking about with the foundational energies from childhood, your mother provides you with the matrix that you build upon your whole life. And because you weren't taught about who you were as an electromagnetic being and how these principles work, you've been building blindly and with fucked up false matrix energies in your own fields. And if you've been a scapegoat, you have been building a life off of a matrix that was designed for you to constantly be scapegoated, to constantly deal with rejection, to constantly deal with beings projecting on you, to constantly deal with beings wanting to put their shame stories and their hatred and everything they don't want to own up to within themselves into your energy field, to constantly deal with people wanting to be in your energy but not to actually replenish and give back to you, not wanting to see you thrive, not wanting to see you succeed, only being around you because they want to see where your flaws are, only wanting to be around you because they want to see things happen in your reality, want to see you stagnate, want to see you lose, want to see all kinds of things. Meanwhile, they're kicking and laughing in your face and acting as if they're your allies. But guess what? You could only call into yourself magnetically what the motherboard of your energy was founded upon. So if the matrix that was set for you by your mother and enforced by your father was rooted in scapegoat energy, and you being a scapegoat, then your whole life you've been calling in these things, these energies from people, and maybe initially thinking there was something wrong with you, or more recently waking up and seeing there's nothing wrong with you, but feeling like, why does this keep happening to me, even though I keep on, I'm doing the work, I'm cleansed, because you had to get to the root energy, you had to get to the matrix that the whole energy system was built upon. And the matrix of an energy system begins through Aries. It begins through the spiritual, invisible principles presented through Aries energy. And then Taurus comes and provides the tools. By the time you get to Cancer, this is about the beginning of the birthing of that matrix. All energy cycles, including your life cycle, and all that you've lived through so far, is built upon a matrix, which brings me back full circle to what we were talking about in the beginning with the collective Holy Spirit energy and the personal Holy Spirit, meaning that we live in a false collective matrix that has been created by us and through us, through their programming us to manifest this dystopian hell that is fading away, because we ain't living in that. We'll leave those timelines to the beings who want to be in those timelines, but we ain't claiming them anymore for ourselves, right? But then deeper than the collective matrix, your whole life and all your experiences, the summation of what you've been through thus far that has constantly called in the same cycles for yourself, are rooted upon the matrix that was established for you through your mother, and then further established through the relationship with your father and your family, and then community. All of those formative energies that invested in the building upon, or the cementing upon the original matrix placed, that your energy field was built upon. And right now, many of us are getting to that place of clearing out the seeds and rooting in a new matrix for ourselves, based upon your ability to know who you are, to connect with the Divine Mother and Father, to, you've healed your, ancestral wounds, all of that. I actually want to go into the Moonology Oracle to get a little bit more on this Imam-Koli energy. I probably, because this reading did kind of touch on these scapegoat issues, I will go into the downloads quickly. I'll close out with the downloads that were given here. But let's just get a card for the Imam-Koli. At the bottom we have nothing is yet set in stone. So this means that something is shifting presently, establishing and shifting, okay? But even more beautifully, we do have a win-win outcome as forecast. We have the full moon in Libra. We are coming up to the new moon in Libra in about a week or so. The full moon in Libra happened already this past Aries season. But either way, we've got this Libran energy, which is showing me also that maybe something from the full moon in Libra, certain themes that were coming up for you at that time. Something is closing out, or something's been closing out since then. 2204 on my clock for 4 energy. Something, material contracts established. Something's been being established in your fields since that time to bring forth new foundations. And so something is evacuating to make that possible through the new moon. I'm actually going into, I just want to find out when the full moon in Libra was. The new moon in Libra, I believe I believe it's in a week. I believe it's on October the 2nd. Let's see when the full moon in Libra was, just to give you a bit of, an idea around timing. Oh, come on, stop being a twat. Monday, March the 25th. So the full moon in Libra happened right before, this is what I wanted to check, because I couldn't remember if it happened before or after that really powerful total solar eclipse in Aries. So the full moon in Libra was that moon that occurred right before the new moon in Aries, where we had that total eclipse on April the 8th. So something that began to be, let me see, what degree was that? Was it 25 degrees? Something that began to become more obvious in your fields, maybe even possibly more, 5 degrees, 5 energy, right? Something that was becoming more obvious in your fields as being a block, or that was unveiling itself to you more in terms of what it is you've been going through with your many, issues and cycles. There's something about that coming to a close. You might, if this reading is really speaking to you. Oh, okay, and that was also, of course, that was a lunar eclipse also. And we just came out of the lunar eclipse in Pisces, and we're coming up to the annular solar eclipse, the donut energy with Ring of Fire. This is where the sun can consume. This is how I see it. With the annular eclipse is when the sun consumes the shadow. And when I say the shadow, I don't mean like it consumes your shadow and takes it away. It's like it burns away at what needs to go to give you back the refined energy, almost. But I forgot what I was saying. Something about the eclipse. Okay, let's go into these notes. I told you guys I was going to hang out with you for a while tonight. So I'm just going to read exactly what I wrote. If you are a family scapegoat and struggle to have career success, live up to your potential, or have loving and reciprocal relationships up until now, this is why. It's because of that matrix, that foundational energy that was set up for you to fail. You were set up for failure through this abuse. You were groomed to constantly struggle and to be overlooked, criticized, but at the same time envied. I'm going to say that again. You were groomed to be overlooked and criticized, but at the same time envied. And why is that? Because that was the dynamic that you were set into as a scapegoat in your family. And why do I say that? Because a scapegoat is always chosen based upon being the most resourceful. And when I say resourceful, I'm talking about spiritual and emotional resources, very specifically, and mental resources, meaning the way you think is differently and it challenges the status quo and they want to shut you down. You feel too much, which connects you to truth and the expression of truth that they don't want to see. And so they shut you down. But at the same time, they shut you down because they want to use that mental and emotional energy to cloak themselves, so it appears that they're the ones who are enlightened or have truth when they don't. They're just siphoning off of you by keeping you small and eating from you, energy harvesting you, meaning killing your confidence to make themselves feel confident. Have you ever noticed, if you're a scapegoat, how a lot of the time beings will emulate you? I'm not just talking about copycat energy. I'm talking about when you're around people enough, they will start to literally emulate you. I don't know how else to put it. And yeah, it is copycat energy to some extent, but it happens everywhere you go. And sometimes those very beings who are trying to emulate you in some way are the ones who at the same time are trying to pull you down. That's a form of trying to cloak you in the very energy. They want to take it from you, so you can't use it as a resource for yourself. And they take it from you by making it seem as if your having it is a problem. So they'll make it seem as if you being a certain way, so an example of this is that one of my main energy harvesters in my family, I caught her slipping one day because she goes to me, you are just such a humanitarian. Your problem is that you see the good too much in everyone because you've got this humanitarian thing going on. And to me, 2211, to me, I never thought of myself that way. I wouldn't put that label on myself. Now I see. But what she was really saying, because this person is moves in the world as if that's who they are, what they really were trying to do is make it seem as if my love for humanity made me weak, so that I would doubt my calling, and in some way, shape, or form, there was a transfer for them in lowering my confidence, in helping them to feel above me. That's what they were trying to do. These are energy harvesting dynamics are subtle. But when you know, when you get it, you get it. That every single time a person is trying to make you feel less than, whether they're doing it verbally or they're doing it in their behavior, or whether you just sense that there's something about someone's energy that puts you into a lockdown, then you can be certain that either it's them or it's an entity that's flowing through them that is wanting to lower your frequency to feed or to get something from you. Okay? And when you're a scapegoat, you're set up through your family to constantly go out into the world and have these energy vampires. Right? So scapegoats are always the ones in the family with the most resources. You don't rob an empty bank. Right? So you were set up for failure through this abuse. You were groomed to constantly struggle and be overlooked and criticized, but envied at the same time. This matrix, an energetic signature that you carry, it can be changed, okay? But you must address the way your energy bodies have been programmed out of your true magnetic settings due to the ongoing trauma and that matrix foundational energy upon which all those traumas occurred, because the foundational energy was calling them in. Okay, so financial blocks and sabotage to get you to stay stuck. This is a hallmark of dealing with not only scapegoatism, but also narcissistic family agendas, and when you're dealing with all of the entities that flow through those bloodlines and how they connect with the grander social web of narcissism, and how therefore from every angle, even if you are separate from that family, those energies can still try to infiltrate you in different ways to block you, whether it's through a financial institution or a platform or a so-called friend. It doesn't matter. It's not about the institution per se or the person. It's about the entity that utilizes these things to flow through and to you. Okay, because understand and overstand also that all abuse is spiritual. Narcissistic abuse is spiritual. Scapegoat abuse is spiritual. Okay, there are very real entities that are at play working through these people and these groups that have seen you for a very long time as being a very tasty energy source. Okay. The scapegoat is the one with all the good resources. They do everything to hold on to you because you're top tier supply. Hence the reason why the blocks that keep you dependent upon them a lot of the time is a spiritual war. They don't want to let you go, but they will. Oftentimes they cast death energy, whether it's conscious or not, it doesn't matter. A spell, a death spell, again, doesn't have to be people gathering around a cauldron and raising up energy or using, it doesn't have to be any of that. A very powerful death spell when you're a scapegoat in a narcissistic family ring is when they begin the family mobbing and you've done something to upset them and they all come together to collectively use their mental and their emotional energy to drag you down and out of any position of power you've fought to get to for yourself. So for those of you who've been tuning into my Substack, you'll know that even though this thing was enacted through Stripe, I know exactly why it occurred on a familial level. It's because I am getting out, and it's because I've been taking very real steps to pull myself and my children away, and that has upset the family dynamic, because that story of me not being able to do things for myself and needing them, it's falling apart. And so coming together now to try to reinforce that and channeling that energy towards me, especially through my birthday portal, because I made a very big decision to completely be no contact around my birthday portal, and that caused disturbance. Let's put it that way. So a death attack, death energy, doesn't have to be people coming together to purposely, just when you upset the family dynamic as a scapegoat and you begin to rise in your power and they don't like that and they don't want to take responsibility for the fact that they don't like that and they want to drag your name through the mud and make it seem like you're the problem again, that is powerful enough to be a literal death spell because of the power of the matrix and the foundational energies that the family are built upon. This is an accumulation of energy over decades. It's not just a one-off thing. And so, it's not just a one-off thing. This is like deep harboring of denied and repressed energies that are constantly coming up and needing a vessel or a container to express themselves through. So that in and of itself, that is a very powerful death spell. And then some of them also are doing shit with other beings too. That we won't deny also. So they cast death energy towards all your endeavors to rise above the narrative and role they need you in, to energy harvest and not take. Sorry, guys. So they cast death energy towards all your endeavors to rise above the narrative and role they need you in, to energy harvest and not take accountability for their own shit. If you don't learn to protect yourself and balance your energy on all planes, this energy continues to cause blocks, stalls, stagnancies, and for others to purposely not support you. Even if they are benefiting from your work or gifts, or see you're trying to get away and do better, they still will not support you. This is just the scapegoat. And this is how you know that you're breaking through it also, when that is no longer the case. Okay? Because remember also, for those of you who've been in like narcissistic family and scapegoat abuse, you'll know one of the main things they'll say to you, or I shouldn't say the main thing, one of the main things I'll say to many of us is that you're the problem and nobody's going to love you or put up with you or support you. So that's something that is ingrained in your matrix from the time you're a kid. your energetic foundation, so that literally you go out into the world and people don't. So and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you keep on living it and experiencing it, so you begin to internalize it as if it's your reality. So the more you break out of that energy, and the more you begin to call in people who support you, the more you see that the spell, the mechanics of the spell, the mechanics of the energy matrix that was sustaining the spells is being dismantled. So, for example, some of you, one way to realize that the spell is breaking, even in the midst of things happening like blocks and things occurring, which sometimes they need to for the energy to leave, is the quality of relationships and support begins to shift. So right now, even though I've been dealing with a lot of shit with the strike thing, the quality of people showing up into my reality is changing. I have people showing up who I don't have that, I'm not sensing that underlying envy or desire to be in my energy because they're drawn to me but don't really like me. Right now, I find myself aligning more with people who actually value me and I value them. Not because they see me as being perfect or they put me on a pedestal, not because I see them as being perfect or put them on a pedestal, but because I'm able to be so tuned into the beauty of their souls, and they're reflecting that back to me too. But once upon a time, that wasn't possible based upon the spells and the fuckery that I still had to clear out of my fields. I've been very intentional about clearing this stuff, by the way. I've been very intentional because the minute I began to see that all of the spells that were being cast towards me by other beings, even the rejection and the repulsion spells that were happening on this platform, the spell wasn't actually the issue. The matrix energy that constantly was attracting beings that wanted to do that was the issue. And so I started to deal with that instead of constantly fighting against that energy. So, with this energy, everywhere you go, you attract the same energies of vitriol that resemble your family of origin, but from different people, right? Because you were literally programmed to magnetize this stuff, okay? To get all the way free requires a complete overhaul of your energy body settings, beginning at the matrix energies, the foundation that set it all. And that has been being built upon and been replicated and further enforced and established through your experiences. So for me, I used ritual. It's taken me years to do this, but I've used ritual. That's what I did. And that's what I continue to do when I see something. I utilize the power of ritual because all of this is ritualistic. Energy is, for energy to build into your fields, it builds over time through repetition. And a ritual is nothing but breaking a pattern through consistency and through repetition. But when you are more in tune with directing the energy and conscious of creating the ritual or breaking the pattern, you can actually break these spells apart quicker, because a lot of them were built upon ritual, but it was built through unconscious energy. When you take the power of your conscious energy to break these things, you can do it you can do it faster than the amount of time it took you to get here. Although it still takes time, okay? So there's a lot of programs in the mental body, but the traumatic experiences, the repetition and the triggers are stored emotionally, and therefore that's what your mind will revert to until you teach it new settings, and it has lived out experiences from this place. And this is what rewrites your emotional fabric. So in other it in these dynamics, you are programmed to keep on repeating these things by having your mind constantly go back to what has occurred and thinking that the same thing is going to occur. But because you have authority over your mind and you're breaking spells and you recognize that it doesn't have to be your reality, the minute you're able to break the spell mentally, you can begin to shift your reality to call in experiences that begin to write a new script. And that new script is partly what's going to continue to heal the emotional body also, because you will no longer be repeating the trauma, but you will be experiencing new energies that help you to really understand and overstand that something higher and better is possible. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end here with the downloads, because we're almost 2 hours in. But yes, 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 I think we're done here. Let's go into the Beyond Lemuria deck just to get one last card. I will be back, guys, with my my group offerings in October. I was going to do one on Saturday, but I'm taking more time out for myself to continue to recalibrate. So I'll be back with my next group next week, so please pay attention to the community board. And my guidance is to really focus on calling in justice codes and what that means for us. I'm going to keep this group limited to 8. Okay? Limited to 8. I'm changing the way I'm showing up in all ways to match the fullness of my value of what it is I actually give to people, which is a lot. What I give is priceless. And while I've done my best to try to make my work more accessible, I found that when I give my things away for free, there's no real respect. Like when I did group offerings for free, and I allowed people to purchase tickets through Ko-Fi for free. I just opened up the spaces. It sold out really quickly. I think there were like 18 spaces and 4 people showed up. That's really disrespectful, in my opinion, because I normally charge money for people to come, not only because I deserve it, but because people are more likely to have respect for themselves in their own process when they pay for a service. And I'm going to start taking that a lot more seriously. I'm not here to just give what I have for free, especially not at this level, this new level that we're entering into, and the things that are coming through for the collective through me. They're not for everyone, and they're certainly not for people who don't have real respect for my value. And people who have real respect for my value know that there's no price that would be enough for what it is I give. And if you've ever been in any of my groups, you'll know that to be the case. I'm not the type of person who I will sit with people for 4 or 5 hours at a time and answer all of their questions. I'm not the type of person that I care. In other words, I care. It's so much deeper than I actually care. I want to see people do well. But because I care and I want to see people do well, I will only accept people into my reality who care about me at this point and want to see me do well too. And I know there are some of you out there, y'all are amazing, but I also know there's a lot of you that try to come and take advantage or try to get things for free and have no real respect for my growth, my energy, my replenishment, and I'm putting a stop to that now. So I'll let you know anyway about the group if you're interested, and if you you already know that's something you're interested in, you can shoot me an email at solarahspeaks@proton.me. I want just one card, please, not many. solarahspeaks@proton.me. Life force energy. So that's the card and the activation, because this is a card, an activating card. So we got dolphin energy. Beautiful. Dolphin energy. Life force energy. Revel in the bliss of being alive. This card is packed with luminous life force energy for optimal health and healing. As much as is possible, seek joy and upliftment in everything you do. Consider the foods you eat, the environments you spend time in, the people in your life, and what you wear. Increase your awareness of how things come to be in your world and their energetic resonance. You may be inspired to work with healing energies, with the land, perhaps to grow vegetables. You are encouraged to joyfully make your life a piece of Eden. As a result, you will shine with vitality. This is about the recall of your life force for as long as you're open to receive it. Even in the midst of these blocks, your soul is alchemizing some of these deep-rooted wounds that came through a matrix that have to leave the same way they entered, have to express themselves for you to get back what it is you've lost. So one way to help with the process of that is to make sure that you are being true to self and to what brings pleasure and joy to your soul, and what keeps you in alignment with your purpose and your destiny. Being honest, speaking truthfully, expressing yourself fully, even if it rocks the boat or it offends some people. I'm learning right now so much to just say what it is I feel. I don't have a problem a lot of the time expressing certain things when it comes to other people, doing readings and stuff, but I will often hold back on what it is that I'm going through in order to protect other people, but I'm done doing that now. My guides gave me a stern talking to when it came to writing what I wrote today on my Sunrise Salutations about the energy vampirism on these platforms. I kind of subtly addressed here, but not to the full effect of what I spoke and I wrote about today on SUBSTACK. And that is because I'm not here I'm not here to hold on to energies in my emotional fields that prevent me from fully birthing my destiny and my place and my truth on the earth planes, because some people can't handle my truth, or can't handle the truth, or can't handle the weight of what it is I have to say. I'll say something I said to my son earlier on, and then I'll be done. People who can't handle the full strength of the expression of things that you have to express that they don't like do not deserve your goods. If they can't handle when you express your pain or things that they're doing to harm or hurt you, they don't deserve the rewards that come from when you are in higher energy. They don't. They're not worthy. Okay? It's as simple as that. So when you move from that premise, it might mean you lose many people, but you're only ever going to lose those who were vampirizing you to begin with. And what you do is you open the door for genuine souls who have a true appreciation for the wealth that you bring into their lives and how much you help them to rise to. Okay, 22:33 on the clock. It's 2 minutes, 3 seconds, 2 hours, 3 minutes on the clock too. So 23, that is an age of Aquarius. That's an Aquarian degree. So beautiful. This is the age of Aquarius that we're dealing with. These are the Aquarian energies that have to come through now. We must learn how to properly wield the power of our energy and respect other people's energy, and to replenish where we can, and to not take where we're not planting, in order to stop the energy harvesting. You can't stop the energy harvesting if you're still part of the energy harvesting agendas. And so this new season is about to be very, very real with all of us in how we're still giving to those programs unconsciously for most of you, I would imagine, except for you stalkers and vampires who are here on purpose trying to get something that's no longer available to you. And monitoring spirits. Let's not forget to the monitoring spirits. Shout out to the monitoring spirits. How y'all doing? Anyway. Yes. Okay, for all information on how to work with me, you can check out my website, solarah.info. For all bookings, you need to email me directly, please. My website shows you all of my offerings, all of my readings, and pricing. But if you want to book with me, please email me, solarahspeaks@proton.me for all bookings. I'm still over at SUBSTACK. I am reimagining my place over there and creating new opportunities for people to support my work who want to support my work over there. That doesn't include their membership and subscription service. So that will roll out in October, but I am still over there and will be until I shift and migrate myself comfortably into my new online space. I think that's it. Yep, information about the group I will put out on the community board, as well as whenever I come back on here. I'm sending you so much love. I thank you. I thank all of you. I thank you guys who are like my true supporters. I love you. Thank you so much for seeing me and seeing my soul and seeing my worth and my value and not trying to cheat me. Thank you. And for those of you who are the vampires and the cheats, thank you too. Thank you too, because you help me to see where I do that too and where I need to tighten up. Not only how people are doing it to me, but even the subtle ways that I fall and prey to it. I can't tell you not to do anything without also taking full responsibility for even the tiniest subtle ways I have contributed to the exchange also. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending you all love. I will see you again soon. Take care.